Hey there, Ron Sullivan, your online hitting consultant. I want to talk today about bat wrap. Why kids typically do that. I get a lot of mail, a lot of questions. Why does this happen? Can you make a video about it? Right? The fundamental problem that young players have is that they don't understand this idea of connection. There's a relationship that our body has to have with the barrel in order to execute certain simple movements, right? And so what young players do, because they don't understand connection, oftentimes they get the bat and their hands pushed back so far that their bat gets back here, and let's face it, they can create a lot of centrifugal force that way with the bat. Some players are trying to whip the bat through, but the problem is with that type of swing that ultimately it's not as powerful because you're oftentimes leaving the big muscles. They're leading the swing and the hands are falling behind, and then the barrel finally catches up. So we're trying to use all of these muscles, right, in order to hit the ball. So there's a relationship in this idea of connection that's so important for players to understand, is how the entire torso, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the bat, I like for players to feel like that's a unit, that all of this is working together in order to help us ultimately unload the swing. So they have to understand connection first, and so we have to conceptually change their mind on one thing. When they see their favorite player with a bat behind their head or what have you, typically what they're seeing, they're not seeing exactly what's happening, right? So this intersection point is so important, I think, with the back shoulder for players to understand, is that what I try to do is get players to feel that intersection point, and that we're never going to break that intersection, that we're going to stay right there straight in line with the back shoulder. And so as we as we begin to our pre-swing or take our load or whatever you want to call it, we're maintaining that same relationship. It's still intersecting in that same point, but I'm turning the torso, the upper half back to get ready to go. And so you end up with, as you can see in the video, is that the barrel may be a little bit behind my head, right? But it's still maintaining the proper connection and relationship that's going to help me drive to the inside. This is what players need to understand, that this is ultimately going to help us unload if we understand that feeling. If you watch Jonathan LaCroix or even Ian Kinsler when they're at the plate, as they're waiting for the pitch and they're getting ready, you'll see both of them have this little move where they kind of turn their whole upper half, right, and their hands to the inside, and now they're ready to go. It's a feeling that they're trying to stay connected, I believe, right, where they're trying to feel how all of these muscles are going to aid in helping us get to the inside. If we just depend on trying to pull the knob to the inside, you're going to end up with some funny looking swings, right? And that's exactly what you need to try to challenge your players to do, is feel that connection. How does that relationship work? So when I load everything back or I begin my pre-swing, I'm not going to break my hands and arms from that connection and that relationship. I'm going to keep and maintain that same sense of power and that same sense of connectedness all the way into the ground so that I can get to the inside really easy. Right? So connection is basically the intersection between the back shoulder, right? And then that feeling of maintaining that intersection until we begin to unload the swing. That's going to help your players get to the ball a little bit quicker and not break connection. The more you see this and this angle right here increasing, the more you see a player that has a really difficult time as they progress through the levels of being able to make adjustments. They may be able to hit a pitch that's really fat down the middle, right? But the reality is you've got to let your players learn to get to the inside as quick as possible and use the body, right, as a driving force in this first phase of the swing to unload, and you're going to see a lot more power too. All right, hey, Ron Sullivan, your online hitting consultant. Thanks a lot.